Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
Up and happy mental push up Monday, baby. We here. So check this out. The title of today's message is, yes, I love Wheaties, but feedback is the breakfast of champions. And shout out, let me give credit where it's due. That was inspired by a quote I heard this week from Monica Jordan. Thank you so much for that. You're the inspiration for my blog today. Thank you. And secondly, well, actually, two more things. So secondly was I've been reading this book, Mindset. And so it's really changing the way that I'm beginning to think about certain things in terms of like growth, right? The way our belief system. And then thirdly was one of the things that this is my vulnerability is sometimes I don't like to receive criticism and feedback. Like my defenses, boy, them things go all the way up when I'm getting some criticism. Like sometimes they're like, wait, who you you telling me that I need to? Yeah, so my defenses, sometimes we get a little feedback, a little criticism, our defenses go up. So sometimes, I don't like to receive it. So that's something I'm consciously working on, right? Is to just be more receptive to feedback and not be so defensive. So anyways, so today we're going to talk about the Fab Five of feedback, baby. The Fab Five of feedback. Okay, so number one, feedback is an opportunity for us to level up, So I look at it like this. You know how when you're doing your hair, you look in the mirror, you're trying to get tight, get it right, and so you can't necessarily see the back of your hair, right? You're like, oh, I don't know what this is like. So you ask your friend, you say, hey, how my hair look? Be like, oh, okay, it looks fine. But then sometimes, your friend out there, well, let me get this other mirror so I can see what it really looked like, what's really going on back there. So I like to consider that's like our blind spots. Those are things that we may not see in ourselves. We may think, I'm doing just a great job. I'm doing a wonderful job. But, sometimes we have to have the support of other people to help us push past comfortability and being stagnant because we're unaware of it. So somebody else has to tell us, right? So feedback is a great opportunity for us to level up and push past where we are. One of the things that I used to always do, I just love people to give me fuzzy wuzzies all the time. Everything is just wonderful, great, but guess what? Wonderful and great sometimes is not necessarily what's going to push you to your next level, And so it's kind of weird with the feedback because as a college athlete, like you get feedback all the time. Do your shot like this, do it like that. And it's like, fine, but the thing is that and I realized that the only way that I improved as a basketball player was people telling me, switch this, change that, so that we can get better. So fuzzy wuzzies, those are wonderful, but we also have to have people around us that tell us the absolute truth so we do not remain stagnant. Okay. So secondly, feedback is an opportunity to deepen and strengthen our relationships. So because people love us, they're gonna tell us the truth. They're only telling us because we care. They have to tell us if they're close to us and they love us. That's the reason they are telling us. And so I think it's an opportunity for us to be vulnerable, for us to be transparent, and really strengthen and deepen our relationships. Because we're just saying, hey, I'm telling you this because I love you, but it also gives you an opportunity to pass that on to your partner, your friend, someone close to you, and share areas in which they can grow as well. So it really is a fluid thing. It really pushes you and you really grow together as you work through those things. But you're like, you know what? Thanks for telling me. I wasn't even aware of that. Whatever. But it really strengthens and deepens those relationships. Okay. So now we move on to point number 3. So the third point is just because you receive feedback, it does not mean that it is a character flaw or there is something wrong with you. This is about growth. This is about there's something that I need to work on to push past where I am to level up, right? So one of the things that I always struggle with, this is why I didn't like feedback, because I took it as there's something wrong with me. You telling me that, oh, you failed in this area, I would take it as I'm a failure. I can't get this right. What's wrong with me? Why I can't, you know what I'm saying? So I really struggled in that area in terms of feedback. So that's why my defenses was like, boom, you're not talking to me. Like, you're not telling me. So I wasn't trying to hear it because I just, I took it as there's something wrong with you. And so that's not necessarily true though. Someone is just telling you something to help you grow, which leads to point number 4. The thing that we have to know about feedback is switching our mindset around it, right? A fixed mindset and a growth mindset. So in a growth mindset, we focus on progress. It's not so much about me getting it right all the time, right? Like, I think in the fixed mindset, we say, hey, it is something wrong with me. But in the growth mindset, look at it as progress, right? So the other day, check this out. One of my homies was like, listen, man, you always late. You always late. And I feel like you wasted my time. And so I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, okay, I'm going to work on that, dude. So, now, not to say, like, that night I was not necessarily absolutely on time. But what I did do was, she was like, just call me when you're in the car. I was like, I got you. And I was only 10 minutes late this time, where normally I'm more like 30 to an hour. So, progress, and that's the thing about growth. It's not so much that there's something wrong with you. It's just like, just continue to make progress. Maybe this time you drop 5 steps. Next time, maybe it's 2 steps. Maybe it's 1 step. It's all about progress and not so much about the absolute results. It's about growing. That's the whole point of feedback, to tell you so that you can grow. And then lastly, this is probably the most important piece of feedback, because not only will you receive it, but you're gonna give it. And so the one thing I would say is the delivery of the feedback is crucial. Know your audience. So if the thing with the delivery, if you're delivering it in a way in which the message cannot receive, then it's like it's all for naught. So here's a prime example. Me and my sure thing, we have very different personalities. So I'm kind of a cornball, right? And she's more so like very direct, straightforward, right? So if I know my audience, like if I gotta give her some feedback, then I gotta be like very direct. Boom, this is what it is, right? But if I come at her like corny and say, hey, like beating around the bush, it's like, nah, just give it to me. Just, straight, no chaser. But, I'm sensitive inside. So when she delivers feedback to me, she has to consider who I am as well. So, probably the straight, no chaser, that message is not going to be received. And so I think the thing with feedback, what we have to consider is when we're giving it, the delivery and knowing our audience. Because when we're giving it so that the message can be received. So if I give the message how I want to give it, then the person may not receive it, and so then neither one of us are getting our needs met, or growing, or getting what we need to grow, right? So if you tell me in a way in which I can't receive it, then I can't shift the behavior because it's not being heard. So the big piece of this is the delivery, because yes, these are all the reasons why feedback is important, but the delivery is crucial. Know your audience, know who the person is, because you want to deliver it in a way in which they can receive it. So those are my thoughts around feedback and why it is the breakfast of champions. Number 1, it allows us to level up and grow. Secondly, it deepens and strengthens our relationships. And then thirdly, when you're receiving feedback, it does not mean anything is wrong with you. It's just something you have to work on. And that's okay, because we all have things we have to work on. And then also take feedback as looking from a growth mindset. Progress, not perfection, just progress. And lastly, one of the most important pieces when we talk about feedback is the delivery of the message, so that both parties can get what they need out of that conversation. So know your audience when you are giving feedback as well. So those are my thoughts, the Fab 5 of feedback, because it is the breakfast of champions. Shout out to you, MJ. Shout out. So please subscribe. Please share, because Because guess what, baby? It's all love. But it's the Dorky Jock signing off, baby. And I'm out.